Communicating with too much emotion. I see that heaps. Um, like I say, when it's positive, it's good. So I'm not suggesting let's all be unemotional about everything, but when you communicate with too much emotion, especially if you're reacting against something controversial or something that rubs you wrong, um, yeah, again, our etiquette, our kindness, our articulations gets chucked out, and boom, we're on the attack. And it's sad to see it. Actually, it's not like I've been a victim of it heaps or anything. I'm not coming from a poor me, I'm getting attacked, don't do it. It's more like I just observe it. I mean, it's happened a little bit, but it's more that I observe it happening heaps. People um, reacting with heaps of emotion. Now, I do accept the idea that some things are emotive. They're controversial, they're emotive, people feel strongly, and that's good because if people are passionate, that's a good thing. But again, there's that distance between reacting emotionally and communicating, and I think there ought to be some sort of like stride across from one to the other, from emotion to the communication. Take a moment, breathe, pray, take a walk or whatever. Like just take some time. There's no rush. Like it's just, yeah, people are sort of like a rabid dog sometimes, like just can't wait. Anyway, kia ora, where am I? Kia ora Raywan, tēnā koe, no mai haere mai, good to see you here. I'm guilty of posting things on my page. I have a lot of reasons as to why I post the things I post, mostly because I find the content interesting, but I think they're interesting. Hey, don't be guilty. Don't feel guilty about that. That's what it's for. That's great. I mean, I don't know what you're referring to. I mean, the content of what you're talking about, but that's what your page is for, and you have every right. If it's not hate speech or something, outrageously offensive, regardless of whether I agree with you or not, I support your right to put whatever you want on your page. So please don't, especially if you say it's interesting. You're saying not always necessarily things I believe in, but yeah, hey, that's a really good point. Raywan's saying she posts things that she might not necessarily agree with, but she finds them interesting. I do that too. I do that sometimes for the purpose of shedding a different light or shedding a different angle, sharing a different angle on a topic. I think that's useful, healthy, and necessary. Even if I don't agree with it, it's just like, hey, here's another way of looking at it. And sometimes it might affect my opinion. Often it doesn't. But it deserves a right to be a part of a conversation. We can't just gravitate to all the people that we all preach to the converted. Um, yeah, but yeah, Elizabeth. Kia ora, Elizabeth. Tēnā koe. Tēnā koe. No mai haere mai. Good to see that you're here. Yeah, so where was I? Thinking about what we say, being deliberate, taking a moment, like literally a moment. I'm not saying go and ponder it for a day or a week and come back with some enlightened, highly intelligent response. I mean, it might be just take a minute, take 30 seconds. And again, I think we could/should ask ourselves, is what I'm about to add useful, healthy, respectful, even when you're disagreeing, especially when you're disagreeing. Right. No, I did that. This one, drawing conclusions from what people comment on or say. This has happened to me a couple of times quite recently. I don't hold it against anybody. I'm not taking it personally even, but it was more like interesting to observe when you say something, you share a view, you make a comment, and then the person responds sometimes quite obviously, openly, projecting onto you what they think you believe because of what you've said. Now, on one hand, I get it. You've said something that they've interpreted a certain way. They've jumped to a conclusion, at least in their mind, about your beliefs, your values. It could be like sometimes quite serious stuff. And then they'll put that back like it's a fact. And again, like this has happened to me a couple of times just in the last couple of weeks with individual people that they don't need to be named, but I'm just thinking of the examples in my own mind whereby you say something and then they go, oh well, you think this and you think that, so da 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 da, you're justifying this or that. It's like, whoa, 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 did I say that? Like, they're just jumping to that conclusion, and not checking that, they're not verifying it with you. Like, so when you said that, did you mean this? Or when you said that, does that mean you believe this? They're not even asking that. They're just assuming it. It becomes a fact in their mind, sometimes within seconds, before, because you can tell they respond so quickly. Um, and that, I reckon, is just fraught. It's like a minefield. It's like if I went through the internet jumping to all sorts of conclusions about what everyone thinks, believes, and values, oh, it'd be dreadful. It's just dreadful. Like, you would just, yeah, it's just not a reliable thing or reliable way to have a conversation that's going to be on track. And yeah, so again, thinking about, and if you're not sure about what a person, you might read a comment and it might seem a certain way to you, like might even seem quite obvious to you what they think or believe, but it doesn't hurt to check, like just run it by them. And also, actually, you can't tell what a person believes or values or deeply thinks off of a text comment, a comment on Facebook or anywhere. You just can't. All you can go off, or all you do know is what they've said, like literally what they've said, not what they think, not what they believe, not what their background might be or they're thinking about a certain thing. That requires more than just a comment on a screen. Um, so yeah, that's important to me. This one probably is more simple, and I could have started with it perhaps, but just simply not accepting different views, man. Like, there's heaps of that going on in the world. Um, yeah, I have views, and I disagree with some people, and I agree with others, and I've agreed to varying levels. But people can just have different views, man. Like I said, if it's not hateful, now that is sometimes being interpreted differently. Like, you might have a view that someone really disagrees with, and they will make assumptions again about your position on an issue. I'm trying to be very general about this. I don't want to make this about any particular issue, but um, my point was, yeah, people just have different views. Accept it and open your mind to it. You don't have to agree. It's not about, see, arguing. The problem with arguing, and I believe this is a very Western thinking type problem, is we're not satisfied until we win. We're just not satisfied. Like, there's got to be a winner, there's got to be a loser. This is like the default setting that our culture kind of breeds. And the winner is the one that shoots down everybody around him, kind of like some sort of cowboy movie or something. Like, you shoot everyone down and they don't get back up, so I won the argument. And I've been drawn into those things before. I admit I've been guilty of it. Um, Sometimes you feel like you want to get into that, but I know that it's not healthy, it's not good, and it's just not helpful. I mean, it doesn't result in anyone getting more enlightened or learning something new that's positive. All it does is make people angrier, or if they get shot down, just feel like crap. Um, yeah, there's no winner. There's just angry, miserable people. Because even the person who's shooting everyone down, I don't know that they genuinely feel good about that. I think it's just crap behavior sometimes. But it's an easy trap. Now, Raywin's saying, I was referring the posts about the various issues, particular issues with here in New Zealand and abroad. All lives matter as opposed to Black Lives Matter, or some of the videos of Donald Trump. I don't need to go into detail. I'm sure, it's quite a big one. I'm sure we have seen the clips, the marches that have happened here in the kaupapa they support. People hoping that we march for issues closer as opposed to that overseas. I would like to hear your thoughts on this, bro, because I believe all these things are important. But depending on the issue, they should be dealt with by us to a certain degree. Um, yes, kia ora, Raywin. That's a huge thing. This particular talk, I don't really want to get into the Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter in too much detail, because I want to just stick to the kaupapa that I set for myself, which was to talk about communication. But you do raise a good point, and it's hard to avoid the Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter thing at the moment because it's a current thing that's hot at the moment, and a lot of this communication chaos I've been observing is in and around that particular topic. Um, I'll touch on it real briefly, but I don't want to get into it. I don't see, I'm going to just say about this All Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. I think they both are very positive. I was quite unaware like that All Lives Matter was considered a counterpoint to Black Lives Matter, like they were in opposition, like they're a movement, or like All Lives Matter was a movement. All of that's mystery to me. Not a mystery. I mean, I get it now, but I don't join movements. Just basically, I took it at its face value. All lives matter. Of course, all lives matter. Black lives matter. Of course, Black lives matter. And that's it. I that's it. I don't have a political leaning towards it. I'm not trying to shoot anyone down or shut anything down. I support both of them, and that's just it. People don't like that actually when you support where, yeah, they call it fence sitting and people will see it as a bit of a cop out. And I get this problem when it comes to faith and religion too. When you don't want to argue, when you're happy for people to belong to whatever faith they believe in, that Western thinking of, but there's got to be a right and a wrong, there's got to be a winner and a loser, starts to rear its ugly head. And I've found that happen here with this All Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. So anyway, that's as much as I want to say about that for now, Raywin. I'm more than happy to discuss it again with you and anyone else on a different corridor. But thank you for your comment. Elizabeth said, "Hi, Uncle, loving this talk." Awesome. Feel free to drop a comment or a view, or if you don't agree with me, disagree with me. I don't mind really. Um, being angry and sarcastic. I put my hand up. Sometimes guilty. I don't feel proud of myself whenever I've done it. Sometimes I've gone back and deleted or edited comments that I thought were just being unkind. By myself, I'm talking about. Yeah, we tend to resort to it is actually one of my weaknesses. My default backup, if I'm feeling like it's getting hot in a topic, and if I feel like insulted, perhaps it starts feeling a bit personal, I might tend to get a bit sarcastic. I don't like it. It's a weakness. It's a problem. I'm trying to work on it. Yeah, I'm putting it out there, being honest. Yeah. But other than, if it's not sarcasm, people get angry and they start abusing each other. And then even friends, like online friends, they'll say, "Oh, well, unfriend me then. Stuff you," and it just gets like, whoa, escalated. Like, didn't need to go there. So yeah, that's probably linked to what I said earlier about emotion. People just chatting, communicating off of emotion too much or too quickly. Not focusing on the topic. Yeah, I'm sure we've all seen, read, participated in that where it goes. And to me, like, it becomes a personal thing. Like people start attacking each other's beliefs, each other's views, each other's comments, each other's posts, each other's shares, whatever it may be. I'm talking online, of course. Um, and getting away from discussing the topic, and they start just attacking each other's, or what they perceive to be each other's beliefs. And it's like, part of me just wants to like say, whoa, let's discuss the topic. It's not about me, it's not about you, it's about the topic. Yeah, and just remove that emotion. Oh, well, sorry, keep some emotion, because being emotion and passionate is good, but um, yeah, taking the ugly part of the emotion out of it. Uh, oh, now listen, we've all done this. Look at that, I'm saying all these things and I'm doing them all. But speaking through other people's posts, it's like, I find it, like if you're discussing a topic or you bring up a subject and you might have start a discussion, and then someone just jumps in with a post of a YouTube video or someone else's post and just go, there, watch that. And it's like, even like with no explanation. Like, I mean, I get it if you give your explanation, you state your case, your point of view, whatever, and then say, and this resource supports it. here's an example of, or this person clarifies it for me, or whatever it may be. But heaps people are just throwing each other's posts around with nothing else. Like, I actually find it kind of lazy. Like if someone, like I said, if someone writes me a message and then sends me something to supplement it, cool. In fact, why not? I mean, it might be perfect. But when they just post something else and then might say something really, read this, watch this, and then we'll talk about it. It's like, nah, let's engage. Let's engage like two thinking adults who are at least partly informed. And then if you want to share something with me once we establish some sort of dialogue, fine. But yeah, it's lazy. That's my opinion. Hey, if you do it and you have a good reason to do it. I'm not trying to tell you not to do it. I'm just saying my feeling is that when people do that and they haven't even engaged on any kind of personal level, it's highly unlikely that I'll watch it just based off of the way it's being thrown around. It's almost like you're having this really complex, multi-layered discussion, and someone's come along and just gone, "This will fix it. Boom! Watch this video, and you'll change your whole life or your whole mind." It's like, not even, like, yeah. Don't be lazy. Um, my last summary. Let's get back to intelligent debate and discussion, less fighting, attacking, and judging. I really do enjoy people's passion for things. I'm passionate about the things I'm passionate about. I do enjoy that, but we just let's use our intelligence. Let's use our ideas. Let's use our language. Let's try to make. This sounds really corny. There's just kind of no better way to say it. Make the world a better place as far as this communication goes. Again, asking the question, is this kind? Is this useful? Is this helpful? Is this valuable? Um, and we can absolutely disagree on things with that in mind. Um, we can vehemently disagree. Like, we can be at polar opposites, but still have an informed, intelligent, respectful, tolerant conversation. In fact, I just think that's really, really, really necessary. It's increasingly necessary. It was always necessary and it always will be. But with this online communication that we engage in so frequently about such heavy things at the moment, this year in particular, um, keep it intelligent, keep it kind, keep it purposeful, you know, and but also realize that we're entering into a debate with someone who may well have a very strong opinion of, probably does have a very strong opinion already. They have their reasons, they have their justifications, and you don't have to win an argument. Like, you just don't have to win. I mean, that's sounds it's highly uncompetitive, but um, yeah, we can get on with people we disagree with, but not when the problem is that we disagree. Let's say there's a topic, we disagree, we communicate poorly, we abuse each other, we insult each other, we're sarcastic, and then we end up just kind of like not liking the person um, unnecessarily. We didn't need to go there. And when I'm saying we, I'm meaning we as in everyone. Hasn't happened to me a whole lot, but everyone's sort of it feels like everyone's on the verge of it because of this situation we're in. There's lots of anxiety this year in particular. There's a lot of contentious issues. Like in New Zealand at the moment, just popped up kind of off of the back of the George Floyd, Black Lives, All Lives Matter, that stuff with race, concerning race. Now it's about statues and monuments in New Zealand, and whether old ones that depict figures that we now know were not the heroes that they might have been made out to be. Some people are saying pull them down, do away with it. People have different views, but we can disagree on that, and we can have an intelligent conversation. So anyway, I'm going to start repeating myself if I've made my points. Thank you for those that joined in. Raywin, keep holding these kōrero. They may bring good kai for thought. I hope so. I thank you for that comment. Your comment just before that. I remember reading an article years ago about leadership and what made a good leader. One of the points was having good communication, going into conversational debate with the thought of simply getting your point across and not expecting to win. It's hard sometimes. That's perfect. That person, or you've said it perfectly, Raywin. Kia ora mo tēnā. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for those who tuned in. I'm going to post this video on my YouTube channel as well, and yeah, it'll be on my page. So if anyone who wants to see it, who wasn't able to see it here on the live, feel free to drop a comment, a respectful, tolerant, forethought of comment. And anyway, yeah, all the best. God bless everybody. Take care. Good night.